Jeff's got some gigs to do downtown, and as I understand, we've got somewhere else you'd like to go. So the first of the... Aren't you on? You, the Joyce Upper College? That's what I heard. All right.
Bring your wallet.
Years and years ago, I was a VP at CIBC, and we had a golf tournament. It was a divisional golf tournament, and the senior vice president was in charge of this, and he said, so I was asking him after the golf tournament how he enjoyed it. Did he think it went well? And he said, yeah, it was fine, except, you know, the games were just not much. I really should have put somebody in charge who had to spend money like you, Carson. Just get blasted. Anyway, the first award that we're very pleased to present is a presentation to the student executive. These are thank you gifts from the administration. So I'd like to call Kareem, Adam, Carlos, Aaron, Ramsey, Jason, and Laura, and Vincent, if you were here, to come forward.
I wasn't quite sure what the format would be like, so this is great. Actually, just prepared a small something to say to everybody on behalf of the council. This was, I think, a monumental year for the full-time MBA program. We've been through a lot together, and I think that as much as we can take a little bit of credit, I think most of the credit goes off to everybody in the room. The class really stepped up this year. The class participated and volunteered for all sorts of committees. We've heard all about the case competitions. Everybody's been involved in clubs, organizing parties, giving rides to each other to get from point A to point B because we had an extra seat in our car. And so I think everybody played a really big role in making this year very, very special. So first of all, I'd like to thank the entire class for really making this a special year, and I think we all owe ourselves a round of applause. The second group I'd really like to thank on behalf of the council and the class is the administration, and I don't think we can thank them enough. We've already given them a standing ovation. I'd love to do it again, but in the interest of moving on, I'll just speak about it. So the administration here is phenomenal. I think we take it for granted. It's easy to take this perk for granted because a lot of us don't have an opportunity to see what it's like in another MBA program. Most people only do their MBA once, hopefully. And so, but I have had the privilege to be at a couple conferences and a case competition, and I'd like to share my experiences with you. So at the Canadian MBA Leadership Conference, we had a lot of representatives from schools across Canada, top-tier schools across Canada. At the UCLA case competition, which I had the privilege of being a part of, we met with delegates from schools from around the world. And at all of these opportunities, I got to meet with people on a one-on-one basis and talk to them about the level of support that they were getting from their administrations. And it was surprising. None of them could even come close to meeting they couldn't agree to the type of support that we're getting from our administration. And that's just one small example. I mean, this case competitions alone, our administration supported us in every single case competition that we brought to their attention. And as a result of that, we've really elevated the Queen's MBA brand. So I can't emphasize it enough. This administration is not the #1 outside of the US, it's the #1 in the world, and I'd like to give them a hand. there's a very important group we need to thank here today. Our friends and our loved ones. It's been a long year, and I think we virtually cut them off on a day-to-day, month-to-month, or sorry, week-to-week, and sometimes on a month-to-month basis. And instead of resenting us for it or resisting it, they've loved us through it, and they've supported us through it, and they've encouraged us through it. And I think this year would have been something a little bit less than exceptional if it wasn't for their support. So I'd like to offer up not only a round of applause, but a big hug to all of our loved ones and friends that are here with us today. Please give them a hug. And I just wanted to share a really small story from the UCLA case competition that kind of triggered some emotion for me. When we were there, an individual approached me. She was from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. As I said, there were representatives from all over the world. And she asked me about the success that we had at the Boston Tech Case competition and congratulated me as a member of the school. She knew I wasn't on that team, but she congratulated me as a member of the school. I found that really interesting because the Boston Tech Case competition was only held a couple weeks prior to the UCLA case competition. And as most of you know, the Queen's team took first place at that. And I mentioned to her that Farnaz was one of the heavy hitters from the Boston Tech Case competition team, and that she was in our team as well. And of course, that sent some shivers, through her spine, which felt really good. But my point here is that these case competitions, and Scott's emphasized it, and I'd like to re-emphasize it, these case competitions are a great opportunity for us to elevate that brand image. They've done so much to put Queens on the map, and this year we've had a great opportunity to participate in so many of those. And so I'd like to encourage the administration to not only support the same case competitions that we've been through this year, as well as they have, but to encourage us to participate in as many things as we possibly can. Because I think this year we've demonstrated that it really makes a big difference. Finally, just with regards to us as council, when I gave my election speech so long ago, I mentioned that one of the promises I would make, I mentioned that one of the objectives I would have if I were elected president was to facilitate kind of a coming together of the administration and of the council and the class for the purposes of elevating the Queen's MBA student experience, but also the brand for us as future alumni. And I stand here in front of you today with my council and on behalf of my council, after having taken away 3 first-place finishes, having participated in 11+ case and business plan competitions, after having held the title of Business Week #1 outside of the US for a 3rd consecutive time in a row. After all that, I stand here reporting to you guys and on behalf of the council that I think we have met those objectives. I think as a class, we have upheld the Queen's brand, and as a class, we've actually advanced the Queen's brand. And I think, again, we owe a big round of applause to ourselves for doing that. You want me to get off here? So with that, just on behalf of myself and the council, we'd like to thank you guys for giving us the privilege of being able to represent you and being able to help you shape this year and make it as wonderful as it's been. Thank you.